General Motors has rolled out a new lineup of V8 engines, already finding their way into the next-gen Silverado. Now those same powertrains are set to make their move toward the upcoming Chevy Tahoe for the 2027 model year. That shift could reshape how buyers look at full-size SUVs. We'll go through what's changing, what's confirmed so far, and why these engines matter more than just a simple upgrade. General Motors didn't pour around $1 billion into new V8 development just for a fresh badge or slightly better specs. The real driver here was pressure from years of reliability complaints tied to the outgoing engines. Issues like lifter failures kept popping up, especially in trucks and SUVs that were otherwise doing everything right in terms of sales and capability. New engines were supposed to restore the reputation. But there's a huge downside. A big part of the problem traces back to the cylinder deactivation setup, known as DFM. It was designed to save fuel by shutting down cylinders on light load, but in the real world it turned into a weak point. Lifter wear and failure became the headline issue, and it spread enough that it couldn't just be brushed off as isolated cases. Now this makes things a bit strange. If DFM contributed to past failures, bringing anything close to it back feels like a risky move. While the gasoline V8s were dealing with most of the criticism, the oil burner never really took the same hit. The Duramax has kept its reputation pretty steady over the years, especially in heavy-duty use where consistency matters more than anything else. It became that one option people would still point to when everything else in the lineup felt a bit uncertain. Now it's coming back again for the 2027 Tahoe, even with tighter emissions rules and more demanding efficiency targets in play. GM clearly sees enough value in keeping a diesel in the mix. Long highway runs, towing, loaded road trips. That's where this engine tends to show its strength. The interesting part is how it sits alongside the new V8s. Duramax is not really trying to replace them, more like giving buyers a different lane to pick from depending on how they use the SUV. Don't expect the 2027 Tahoe to look dramatically different, because it already went through a major refresh just a couple of years ago. The front fascia, lighting, cabin, and technology all received significant updates, and even today the SUV still looks modern enough to compete in the segment. There simply isn't much reason for GM to change a design that's still doing its job. Normally, the pattern is pretty straightforward. A new Silverado arrives first, and then the Tahoe and Suburban borrow plenty of styling cues from the pickup. This time though, GM seems to be taking two different paths. The truck has a much bolder, almost futuristic appearance, while the Tahoe sticks with a more traditional SUV identity. Ironically, it's the Silverado's interior that caught attention the most. The new dashboard feels more SUV-like. Features such as the multi-flex center console would fit the Tahoe perfectly. Still, I wouldn't expect those changes just yet. Since the redesign is still fresh, GM will probably save any major cabin upgrades for the next mid-cycle refresh. At this point, there's really no reason for GM to wait. The new 5.7 and 6.6-liter V8 units are officially here with the 2027 Silverado, and keeping the old engines alive in the Tahoe for another year wouldn't make much sense. The company's biggest SUV deserves the latest powertrains just as much as its flagship pickup. That also fits GM's recent strategy. Instead of rolling out new technology one model at a time over several years, they've been moving much faster across the lineup. There is one catch though. New tech and larger displacement never come cheap. $1 billion investment has to be paid for somehow. That means buyers end up covering at least part of the bill. I'm just hoping GM doesn't get too ambitious with the pricing. A big jump could push plenty of buyers toward the competition. The new V8s have the potential to make the 2027 Tahoe an even stronger full-size SUV, but only if the price tag doesn't become the biggest surprise of the entire redesign.